It was just before 7:30 p.m. on February 9th, 2004, when Maura Murray was last seen.
Her car was found damaged, locked, and abandoned on Route 112 just outside of the White Mountains of New Hampshire.
Her disappearance has haunted and frustrated family, friends, and a community of people searching for the truth.
Since that night, there has never been a credible sighting.
You're listening to the MissingMauraMurray podcast. Welcome back to the MissingMauraMurray podcast. How you doing, Lance?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you, Tim?
Doing all right tonight. Before we get going, I want to remind everyone to please follow us on Twitter. The Twitter handle is @MauraMurrayDoc, D-O-C, because this is going to be a documentary. And also, Lance, we've set up a voice mailbox for you, the listener, to call and to leave a message regarding this case. We want to hear your theories. Our thoughts are, if we get enough interesting, cool theories or cool voicemails, that we're going to string them together and play them all as an episode. So do your best, bring it, and we're probably only going to have this phone line open for about a month. So if you want your theory to be heard, call this number, 872-25-MAURA, 872-25-MAURA. MAURA, 872-25-MAURA. Give us a call, leave us a voicemail to hear your own voice on this podcast.
And please leave the message very, very to the point, very concise, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. If you have any information about a crime that's been committed, do not call this number, call the New Hampshire State Police.
For this episode, we have a very interesting topic, subject matter. Wouldn't you say, Lance?
I think it's safe to say we're probably going to deviate a little bit from what we've been doing.
Yes, and we did tease saying that we were going to do a paranormal episode. Well, this isn't quite it, but maybe you could say that this is the first part in a series of maybe 2 or 3 episodes where we touch on the paranormal. And tonight we want to talk about psychics. We went to a psychic in Salem, Massachusetts, and we recorded her. Her name is Laurie Bruno, and she is reasonably famous in the New England area. And she has actually worked with law enforcement in the past at times to search for missing people. So we felt she was pretty credible. I can speak for myself saying that some of the stuff she says is right on the money, but, no one bats 1,000.
Exactly, and she comes from Salem, Massachusetts, so she's no stranger to alternative ways of thinking. Just full disclosure, I've never been a fan of psychics. I've always thought that psychics have really, really, really good intuition. They know how to read people and they know how to read situations. So that being said, yeah, we went to Laurie, and mostly because she has a really deep sense of justice. A lot of what she does is rooted in trying to find the truth in unsolved injustices. And that's what really drew me, that's what really drew me to go to Laurie.
Also, I think it's important to note that Laurie Bruno did not take any money from us. We offered it to her.
Not only did she not take any money, she physically recoiled and said, "I can't do that. That's blood money."
Pretty strong statements.
Yeah. I just want to talk about when she got off the phone. So she's talking on the phone, and she's talking with her daughter about the Jack the Ripper case. And we had no idea she was talking about the Jack the Ripper case. She hangs up and she says, "Oh, that's my daughter." She starts talking about what they're working on, which is she has a psychic lead on Jack the Ripper. And then she says, "Well, enough about that. What can I do for you, gentlemen?" And we went in to explain what the Maura Murray case was. And she says, "Oh, here I am talking about Jack the Ripper and crimes and injustice, and you boys show up."
And she mentions her sense of justice, or her want of justice in all things. And she mentions a name from the past, Giordano Bruno. And she is actually a relative of him. I think he's an ancestor of hers. Giordano Bruno was celebrated for his cosmological theories, and he actually proposed that there could be alien life out there. And back in those days, you say something like that, you get tried for heresy.
He was born in 1548 in the Kingdom of Naples. And he died February 17th, 1600 in Rome. He was burned at the stake.
And his ashes were thrown into the Tiber River. So Laurie comes from a long line of people who think in a different way, astrologers or seers.
He was in prison for 7 years. If we're talking about injustice, Giordano Bruno had this list of charges before he was burned at the stake. Holding opinions contrary to the Catholic faith, speaking against its ministers, holding opinions contrary to the Catholic faith regarding the virginity of Mary, mother of Jesus, dealing in magics,
and divination. Before we play the Laurie Bruno clip, which is a long clip, it'll probably be the last half an hour of this episode, there is a clip from our documentary that we want to play. Some audio from a van while we were driving up to Canada, and it's James Renner, and he's talking about a psychic that he visited.
So this was a psychic that James went to, not planning on going to. It wasn't like he had scheduled an appointment with this psychic to talk about Maura. He was on vacation in Ocean City with his family, and they walked by this shop. And out of the blue, he just thought, well, yeah, I think I'll go in and talk to her about the case.
It is interesting, I find it, Lance, that the family, actually the Murray family, went to a psychic.
Yeah, and I find it even more interesting that Fred Murray was a huge supporter of this. He went to the police. He went to Scarinza and asked the state police to follow up with this, and they said that they would be open to talking to a psychic.
Yes, and Maura's mom was against this. She rejected the psychic Carla Barron's help, saying simply, I don't believe her. I don't believe in psychics at all.
Which is understandable. You can look at her and think that she's saying, you know, I think you guys might be wasting your time because I just don't believe in it. You know, I mean, the way you know, people perceive her reaction when you say rejected, it makes me think that she was angry about it. But she could have simply said, you know, go ahead. You know, I think you're wasting your time. I don't believe in this. I don't believe in psychics.
And furthermore, Billy Rausch, Maura's boyfriend at the time, also disagreed with the thought that this could help. And he said, to involve additional assistance such as a psychic, I personally cannot fathom how this could be of help. But yet it was Fred who decided that it was a good idea.
Yeah, Billy doesn't have a child that went missing. So if you're coming from Fred's point of view, after he's been so disappointed with the way the police have handled it, yeah, I'm sure a psychic would be something that he would be open-minded to and happy to take punches from the people who are going to say that this is a waste of time.
Well, it could be a waste of time. And also to the listeners out there, you know, if you don't believe in psychics and you're already rolling your eyes, you know, you're probably not going to like this episode. But we're doing it because we think it's an interesting angle. And I know a lot of people do believe in psychics, and maybe this opens up to a whole new audience of people.
Although I got to say, if you're listening to this episode, part of you must believe in something to the effect of psychics, if you're even listening to this. And by the time you're done hearing Laurie Bruno, I'm not going to say I came around, but I was taken aback by a couple of things.
And so Carla Barron is a famous psychic. She's on television, and we actually emailed with her to see if she wanted to come on this episode with us. And she said it's been so long since she's talked about it that she wouldn't feel right. It's too far removed from her memory right now. So maybe we try to get her on in the future, but we'll see how this first episode goes. But Carla Barron about Maura said she believes she is no longer with us. Carla told Maura's dad she believes Maura was met with foul play. She also told him what kind of an area Maura can be found. I have been in touch with Maura, Carla Barron said. Maura met with foul play the same night as the accident.
Here's something that is kind of a problem in my head. Carla Barron says to us when we're emailing with her that she doesn't feel comfortable coming on because it was so long ago, and she doesn't have a fresh memory of what happened. She had no memory of it when they went to her. This was in April of 2004, so it was about 2 months later they went to her. So did they schedule it? She had plenty of time to go online and research it as much as she wanted, and maybe she gives the family, the information that they, she thinks that they want to hear.
Let me just give out exactly what she said to us in the email, just so I don't misconstrue it. She said, "The only thing is I haven't worked on that case file nor remember but a few details at this point about the previous readings/impressions for a number of years. It would be counterintuitive, I think, to speak on this case unless it is fresh in my mind."
I don't understand that. Make it fresh in your mind. I don't get it.
I don't know what to say. I mean, are you getting that she wants money from us?
Oh no, I'm getting that like she felt the need to respond, but what is she? She's like a celebrity psychic?
Yeah, she's been on a show called Psychic Detectives, and I'm pretty sure there's another one she's been on.
Yeah, maybe this is like too hot water for somebody who's got an agent telling her what to do now or something.
I don't know. She did get back to me very quickly, though. But she did say she has been in touch with Maura. She said she's done remote viewing. And she has been able to obtain somewhat of a description about the man, as well as where she can possibly be found, by talking twice with Maura's father via the telephone for about 2.5 hours.
What man? The man who kidnapped Maura?
Yes.
So she has a description of him.
She does, and she gave it to Fred Murray, who asked John Scarinza if they would accept the help from a psychic. John Scarinza was the lead detective on the case, and they did accept it. I'm not sure if the state police and Barron actually ever talked, but Murray at least forwarded what she said onto Detective Scarinza.
Okay, there's also this other guy. His name is Brian Ladd. He's self-described as the world's most accurate schizophrenic psychic dreamer. He's got over 3,000 correct dream predictions since 2005, and he did a bit on Maura. You can go to his website briansprediction.com, and he actually has some drawings that he did after he went into his dream state with the case on his mind, and he actually has a drawing of what looks like somebody with a police badge.
This person says that he thinks the perpetrator who abducted Maura is named Ben. He's a white male, approximately 30 years of age, maybe a police officer. He says he doesn't want to make those claims, but he's just saying that because he maybe was trying to help her out with something.
So Brian Ladd's conclusion is he thinks that someone knows about this, has been desperately trying to hide what happened. He says, I do not think the person who took her even knew her at the time, but lives and works very close to the crime scene. She was taken by this man, and this man is a drawing that looks like it was in Sharpie. She was taken by this man. I think his name was Ben, a white male, approximately 30 years of age, maybe a police officer, or I'm not sure, and I don't want to make any claims like this, but that's what I say. Maybe the police officer was helping her out with something. She made a phone call on the cell phone to the above number. He actually has a number that he dreamt and wrote down, 800-253-457 ? Or it could be 258. So that's something that he wrote down during his dream. The man who took her had this symbol on a jacket, maybe an eagle, and she was taken to a Lake Tar. I do not think she is alive, and her body may still be in this lake if it has not been removed. He actually says to the family, I would not trust anyone involved in this case, and I would request that you have the FBI from another state look at this case for you. So we're going to try to get Brian on, because he's pretty intense about this.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, let's definitely try to get him on a future episode. Now, without further ado, we're going to play the clip from James Renner first, and then Lance and I will be back after the Laurie Bruno clip.
I'm very much a skeptic when it comes to things like that. I do believe that there's more to this universe than meets the eye, but I think MissingMauraMurray's case is very much grounded in human drama and the history of families and things like that. But I will say this, on a vacation this summer, and I talk about this in the book, my family visited Ocean City, and they have this big boardwalk. And one night, I took my wife out on the boardwalk for a little date, and we got an elephant ear, and we're walking, and we see this sign for psychic, Jean the psychic. And on a whim, I said, let's go in there. I'd like to ask her about Maura Murray. So we go in, and there's this old Hungarian woman who invites me in and sits down, and she starts reading tarot cards. And the first thing she says is that there's a lot of darkness around this case, and that she doesn't understand why I want to put myself in this case and become so involved in it, because eventually the darkness will rub off and I'll bring that home. And to some extent that's true. You get psychologically connected to these cases, and you do bring that trauma home when you surround yourself with it as much. She says there's a lot of darkness here, and I was taking notes. Says you have traveled, but you have much traveling to do. And I asked her, what about her? What can you tell me about Maura? She said she was not traveling alone, and she was very confident about this. And I had said nothing about this theory that I had developed over the years about her traveling in tandem with another driver. This was just out of the blue. She said she was not traveling alone. Her car was left behind, and then she left with this other person. She wanted to be lost. You will not find her. She does not want to be found. Her life was sadness, bad luck. She wanted to escape this. I asked her, where did she go then? She said, I cannot see her. She's either dead or the darkness is hiding her. And then her eyes got wide, and she said, you went into this girl's past, didn't you? And I said, yeah. She said, as far as her school years? I said, yes. She said, why would you want to do that? It's so much sadness back there. She said, you thought this would be an adventure, but her bad luck has rubbed off on you, hasn't it? Why did you welcome this darkness? She keeps returning. She says, there's a darkness around this case. And she asked me, she says, have you ever felt as though you were possessed? And I said, well, figuratively, possessed by this case, maybe. She's like, no. She's like, there's a darkness here. And she said, yes, you must leave this. Go as quickly as you can. Leave it behind you before the darkness follows you home. And then on the way out, she stopped me again, and I could tell she wanted to say something more, but she was real hesitant. And I said, what's going on? So this woman you're trying to find, she has her own. She kind of stopped, and I said, what? Just say it. She said, I don't want to. I said, well, she has her own what? And she says, well, what I'm trying to say is she was her own disaster. Maura Murray was her own disaster. And that's a very good read on this. She was very self-destructive around the time she disappeared. This woman knew nothing about the case, and she hit it right on the nose, I think. So, I've only met, with cases like this, and there's just some guy running down the highway. With cases like this, psychics flock to these things. They want to be involved. They're constantly emailing me, and I always ignore them. And over the years, I've only met a couple psychics that I think really had the gift. This lady on the boardwalk was one of them.
As a psychic and a crazy lunatic that I am, I work on crime things too.
Excellent.
And even if they're old crime things, we're still going to work on them and get to the justice part, because nothing more in my life than justice, maybe because of Giordano Bruno and what I grew up with. But I know we're going to do okay. Now, let us get to going what we have to do for you, young men. And now, what do you need me for with this documentary?
Well, it's actually exactly what you're just talking about. It's about a missing person.
Oh,
Yeah.
hello. Okay. Well, I'm talking about Jack the Ripper. Okay.
Oh, wow.
and everything that's about him.
Wow.
And, yeah, and it's all not what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I can't talk too much about it, but anyway. So, missing person now.
Yeah, a girl named Maura Murray went missing back in 2004, February 9th of 2004, on Route 112 in New Hampshire. She,
Icy cold. What was icy cold?
yeah, she
I
crashed
just
on
got
a snowbank.
icy cold going through me. They found the car, but they didn't find her. House. Whose house was there? Whose house? There's a house there. There's something to do with a house and a man off the side. Off the side. Oh my.
There's a man named Butch Atwood who saw her. There's a man named Rick Forcier. They were neighbors of where the crash site was. I have some other names.
Did the snowbank the car, like in snowbank. And there's a house.
This is where the accident took place.
Right there.
Right there.
Right
yeah.
there. Right here. What's there? I can't see through there. Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's caught. That's right.
She's out of the car. Who are these people in these houses?
This was
That's
Butch Atwood's old
Butch
house.
Atwood's, yeah.
Butch Atwood's old house. He passed away. His wife lives in Florida now. He was the last person that is said to have seen her.
And when he saw her, what was she doing?
She was, I think, standing outside her car,
Yeah, she
sitting
was
in
standing
her
outside the car. He asked her, should I call the police? And she said, I already called AAA. And then he left.
because he lived
Because
with
he lived
him.
right next door. And they called 911. And she never called AAA. The cell phone service in 2004 was terrible, and there's no record of the call.
No, that's a lie.
Yeah, and within 7 minutes, cops responded, and she was gone. The car was locked. The dogs lost the trace after about 100 feet, so they think she was picked up by somebody. But
Someone picked her up.
yeah, but she was a track star, so and there was no sign of foul play or struggle on the scene. But we don't know.
Somebody took her out of the area there. Looks like an SUV of some kind. Not a small truck. It's like an SUV
Is it
type
red?
car. No, I can't see the color. Seems dark though. It's a dark car. When you're saying red, it's not fire engine red. It's like maroonish kind of red, dark. It's a dark red. But it looks dark. But this big wide back on it. There's a wide back. You have her picture?
Yes, we do.
Please. Oh, I just got chills going
Yeah.
through me. Oh, Lord.
I have a few more too.
There's never been any more from that cell phone, nothing from the cell phone, nothing. Nothing at all from cell phone.
I think it pinged off of a.
It pinged off of a tower in Londonderry, New Hampshire, before the accident.
Yeah, there
After
was
the
no
accident.
reception where she was.
Even when we went up there recently, there was no reception.
Why would he say that she called that?
She might have been drinking. And we think maybe she was trying to avoid a DUI.
Yeah, I feel that. But she was out in front of the thing there wobbling.
There's a picture of her and her dad.
Mm.
Her dad's
A nice girl. What made her go up there? Who made her go up there? What was the reason she was traveling up there?
We think she was running away. We're not really sure where she was heading or why.
She was living at home with the parents?
She was living at UMass Amherst a few weeks into a new semester. She emailed her professor saying there was a death in the family, and we know that was a lie. And she said she'd be back in a week, which...
No, somebody there. They ever check her computer or anything?
Yeah. They found search records of cabins in the area of the White Mountains where she was, and she had spent some time with her father and done some hiking in the past. But she never booked a cabin, never stayed there.
No. I do feel someone picked her up. I feel that. See a wide back of a, like an SUV with a wide back. Sort of darkish color, could be like a maroonish color, blue, dark. Seems dark.
Do you want me to read you some names?
Go ahead.
Okay. Fred Murray is her dad.
Loves his daughter.
MissingMauraMurray.
Loves the child. They had nothing bad about her. They cared about her more than you can imagine. What was the pond near there?
There's the Wild Ammonoosuc River.
The river. They looked there for her.
I believe so, yeah.
There's water near where she is.
Mm-hmm.
Where she is, there's water.
Currently?
There's water there. This man that died, he never said any more about this?
He was given 2 polygraphs. He failed. We know he failed the first one. And I don't know about the second one. But he was investigated a little bit. I'm not sure if his house was searched.
Yeah, his house was searched. He was investigated.
They found nothing there.
Yeah, I mean...
Of course, it wasn't in the house. This was not... She never went to that house. So cold, though. I'm feeling cold. It's like near water she is. She's near water. She's near the water.
You think she's still alive?
No. I don't feel that. I don't feel a heartbeat. I don't feel that. She was how old, 23?
21.
21? 21. Is there any way you can leave me a picture of her?
I can send you one or email it to you or something.
You could do that. I want to take a picture home with me.
Okay.
Her full name, the very full name she has is what?
I think it's Maura. I don't think it's short for Maureen or something. Right?
No, it's not.
Just Maura, it is. Her parents know you came to me?
I don't think so, no.
Her mother passed away on her birthday in 2009.
The father?
They were divorced. They were in the middle of getting a divorce when she went missing. It was a bad relationship.
Family energy was bad. They loved her, though. I picked up they loved the child. She's buying water. You know, it's almost like she's talking to me. It's kind of strange. They checked her computer for everything, right? So strange. She wanted to work with children.
She was in the nursing program, yeah.
She wanted to work with children, like pediatrics nursing. Yeah, little ones. Oh, God. That is the SUV. And I keep seeing the back of it, like, going away.
Does it have Massachusetts license plate?
No. White and green. White and green.
New Hampshire, Old Massachusetts, or Vermont, yeah.
Looks like white and green. But it has a big back on it.
Like an extended cab or like a...
Looks like it's wide, kind of wide one. What kind of wide one it was.
I say a few other names. She had a boyfriend in Oklahoma named Billy Roush. She was all...
He got along with her though.
Yeah.
Billy wasn't against her. He didn't hurt her.
No.
Billy, get that? No.
No.
Billy did not hurt her. You know that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Billy loved her.
How about Hussein Baghdadi?
Who?
Hussein Baghdadi. He was the assistant track coach on the team.
Oh, he liked her.
Alden Howes Olsen.
Who?
Alden Howes Olsen.
Strange person.
Very. He made some really creepy videos.
Yeah, he is creepy.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I got a creepy feeling from this name. No, he's creepy. Weird. We're just talking about Jack the Ripper now. Don't get scared, but that's the type of creepy feeling I got when you said the name.
Related to Alden, can I say a name?
He what?
Related to Alden, I'm going to say a name. He called himself Mr. 1974.
Mr. 1970. Why did he call himself that?
We don't know.
1, 9, 10, 70. What happened in 1974? What was going on in 1974 in the world?
The Lady of the Lake.
What's that?
They found a body on the lake, like on a beach, and they've never been able to identify who it was. So when this guy said that he was Mr. 1974, people did research and found that there was this unidentified dead body who was murdered in off of something like on the outskirts of Cape Cod.
Wow.
So that's like the only speculation.
Yeah.
For 1974.
Him I don't like. I don't like all the what's his face, and I don't want him near me. Him I don't need. But this is where, that's where I see the car going, that way.
Yeah.
When here was where but that's where I see it. Up this way, not that way, this way. What is this way? What is that way?
That was south on Route 112.
Yes.
And what is near there, south on Route 112?
Just the White Mountains.
Yeah, just going into Franconia Notch, that area. There was a store, the Swiftwater Stage Shop.
There's something in that area going up towards the notch.
Did you already say Rick Forster?
No. Oh, I think maybe. He was a neighbor, Rick Forcier.
He was up towards that area, I believe.
Did anybody ever see anything, detect anything about near Franconia Notch?
I know that the law enforcement searched all through there. He's been questioned by the police.
Franconia Notch, she's up near that area. She's up near that area. That area, Brent Woods, whatever you call it. Her remains or whatever. I'm praying she's alive, that somebody has her. You know, the kids, the girls that were in Ohio, wherever it was.
Absolutely.
Three of them. I mean, you know, there's a lot of nuts in the woods there, because I'm getting like a funny feeling inside about her, that she's still there, but it's like dead, but still there. And that big-ass truck has something to do with it. Who is Kathy to her?
Her
Catherine,
sister.
a sister.
Right? Or is that her ex? Her, Kathleen Murray. Kathleen Murray.
He loves her.
Did we give you that name?
No.
Who's Thomas? Tom. There.
There's a Tim Carpenter.
Tom. Yeah, Tim. Who is this guy?
That is the
Ex-husband.
ex-husband of her sister, who is, he's expressed a lot of distrust in the father.
He thinks that the father could have done this.
Or contributed to her running away. And
Yes, that's a possibility. That's a possibility with the father, yes. He berated her for something. I don't know what the hell he berated her for. Bill does not like the father? The boyfriend does not like the father?
They work together to try to find her and do interviews, but I don't think they've communicated in a while.
No. Loves Kathy. I get a communication like, loves Kathy. Beth. Who's she saying Beth? In the other world she says Beth.
Beth?
Beth.
Elizabeth? Liz?
Elizabeth, Beth.
Oh, Liz,
Druinak or something?
Liz Druniak.
Beth. She said Beth.
Beth.
I get her voice saying Beth. Who is this Beth?
She was it sounds like she was a good friend
Yeah.
in high school.
Good energy there. Who would she call Lizzie?
It was probably her, Liz Druniak.
Called her Lizzie. She says Beth, this is Lizzie. Okay, then that's it.
Was she traveling with anybody in tandem, possibly? Possibly Liz or
I don't know. It doesn't. I see her alone though.
yeah.
I don't see her with anybody, Mama. But I do see this big truck, and then I don't see her anymore. I think she's inside that truck.
Wouldn't be a school bus, would it?
Oh, a big SUV. Looks like a big SUV. Did you ever see anybody with that?
There was a report at the Swiftwater State Lodge that a big red SUV with sort of a white back turned around at some point there, possibly going back towards her.
It's a big one. It wasn't a little one. Seemed like a little bit of snow falling too. It was like, fine snow. I'm getting that night there was fine snow falling.
I believe there was definitely recent snowfall.
It had-
Fine snow. I keep
Yeah.
seeing fine snow. Like these big flakes of fine snow coming down. And she's standing on the side. Then I don't see her no more. After that truck or whatever it is, SUV, the big back of it. I just keep seeing the big back of it. And I don't see her anymore. Oh, Lord. Peter is who? Who's the man called Peter or Peterson?
Not sure.
Arm hurts. Something with the arm. Something with her arm. Pulled. Arm. Person was said, I'll take you someplace, get you some help. And then she realized it wasn't help. Oh God, that SUV. That's your key, the SUV. Whoever had that SUV. It's like she's living, but she's not living.
Could she be living under a different name? That's where that-
Possibility.
That's what the confusion might be.
It's a possibility.
Could she be in Canada?
All I know is mountains. Where she is mountains. There are mountains where she is. This Franconia Notch, wherever it is, there's something there to do with her. I don't know if people had seen her. Franconia Notch is where she would, that's where I picked it up last. Why'd the father call her names? There was no reason.
She crashed his car the week before she disappeared.
The night before.
The night before.
She had been drinking.
Yes.
She's a good girl, but she was getting out of hand for some stupid thing. She had an argument with her boyfriend, too. Did you know this?
No.
She hollered at him. But not mean. Did he tell you she raised her voice to him?
No.
But it wasn't mean. It was, she was upset. But not meanness. This is unbelievable.
Did that argument happen, how do you even ask this, happen before or after the accident that she got into the night before she went missing? She crashed her father's car.
Happened after. She said something. He said, that was stupid. That was stupid. He hollered at her a little bit.
Did he hurt her at that point? Or
Huh?
Did he hurt her at that point?
No,
Okay.
no. I don't feel that.
Good.
His words. He said words.
Okay.
Because he said she did something stupid. That's what he said.
Yeah.
He was not too happy with her behavior. No. It's like I get her here, but not here. It's like really weird, the feeling I'm getting. Her mom passed away.
Yeah.
And the father, what is he doing?
He lives in Weymouth. He's a X-ray technician at a hospital on the South Shore. Do you think she could have been pregnant at the time?
It's not an impossibility. It's not an impossibility. I'm concentrating just on her. And what I see is Franconia Notch area.
Okay, cool.
Go look up there. Have them look over there.
Do you think her disappearance is related to other disappearances in the area?
Yeah, it could be. Could very well be. Could very well be. But I feel like she's there but not there. Kind of weird feeling I'm getting.
There was a rag found in her tailpipe after the car had crashed. It was found there. We're not sure when it was put in the tailpipe. Whether to stall the car out or afterwards, maybe.
Why would that be in the car?
Apparently-
Asphyxiation?
No, because
What?
it's not the right setting for that.
No.
Yeah. Her dad said that he gave her the rag, but we don't know how it ended up in the tailpipe. We know that it's evidence at this point.
No. What I'm picking up here is that the father did love his daughter. He did not kill his daughter. No way. I'm going to tell you that I don't feel the father would. No.
Good.
He was mad at her for things, but car is a car. Your daughter is more than a car, you know? Your child is more than a car. No, I don't feel that. I don't feel it. Something happened between here and the car, that thing that picked her up. But someone picked her up. And that's what I saw. All I see is the back of it. Looks like a green and white license on it. There may be a 3. A number 3 seems like curved in the end. 3. All right, that's what I get.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I got. How far was the gas station from here?
About 5 miles.
About a mile?
5 miles. Right before the crash, she had gotten gas.
And she was at that gas station?
Yeah.
And there was ice where she crashed. curve there?
Absolutely.
That's what happened. Oh, yeah, say curve is over there. Squiggly. Oh, yeah, squiggly curve. That New Hampshire's full of them.
Name's Sarah Alfieri. Anything?
Sarah Alfieri?
Yeah.
From where?
She's probably from Hanson, but I think she lives in Cambridge or Boston or Newton.
Friend of hers?
Yes.
Seems to be a pretty straight kid.
I think so, yeah.
You met her?
I have not.
She was around Bill?
Probably.
Her boyfriend?
Probably.
They seem to know each other. She was still talking to her?
Mm-hmm.
She talked to her on the telephone.
Could be.
Talked to her on the telephone. Oh, Lord. What was her birthday?
It's May 4th.
To Taurus. Taurus is usually pretty sensible people. I'm a Taurus. We don't get into people's cars unless somebody forces us in the car. Because she didn't want help from the man at the house there. Why would she go willingly into a car? But I do see the car there. Who is Benjamin or Ben around her? Somebody with the name Ben. Something wrong here. Big wrong. Did they ever think there were two men in the car?
I don't know.
She would not get in that car alone. There were two men. In that truck, SUV, whatever you want to call it, I felt two men. Two. One of the men has a beard. Franconia Notch. I keep getting Franconia Notch. How far is Franconia Notch from there?
45 minutes, maybe.
The direction I pointed to up that way?
Yeah. Yeah.
They gotta look over there. Have they done that? Have they searched that area?
As far as I know, yeah.
That's where they gotta go.
Yeah, it's very close.
The vehicle was locked. Sure, she locked the car. That's why she would lock the car. She got in the car. We'll help you, don't worry. I feel there were two. This one was a big woman. Seem big people, they don't seem to be little people. Yeah, I pick up the two now. Could be one woman, might have been a heavy-set woman, a little heavy-set. And when she saw the woman, she figured it would be all right. Something's really weird here. Did they ever feel that there was a woman too involved in this?
I don't think so.
Well, I think they better check that out too. If she was drinking and driving, she was standing outside, somebody locked the car. Somebody picked her up. That's all I can see. I wish I could help you further. But I want you to check up in Franconia Notch.
Yeah, we will.
There's something wrong there. Something's very wrong. This is not right. I'm getting two feelings from her, living and dead. I do see a heavy set. Could be a woman. Give it a good look-see. Go through this again. Do you need these?
No.
No.
If you can get me a picture, can you send it over
Yeah,
to him?
I think I did.
And
I'll
leave
just-
me, I have your number.
Okay.
This you can leave me.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I want this. Whatever you can leave me. When I found Mickey Evangelist, murder and all, out in Clinton, Massachusetts in 1991 it was. They left me clothes of hers and a picture. And I went in quiet in my house and I got all the information that they needed. Even found her body.
Wow.
Told them where it was. And the police have it listed, the police and others. I'm others. But I feel there's something there with this girl. She wasn't thinking right. She wasn't thinking right. The boyfriend got mad at her for something, and he wanted her to think before she did stupid things. You ask him. Dear God. With a top on it.
Yeah.
Like a cab? I mean,
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
a pickup truck with a white cab.
yeah. Could that have been it?
I believe that was what was cited at the Swift
Because
Waters.
what I saw was like red towards the bottom. Or dark color, maroon. But there's a 3 in the license at the end, looks like a 3. Whatever I can do to help you, I will do it.
Thank you very much.
All right? God bless.
Some of the more interesting stuff, I think, from the Laurie Bruno clip is that she mentions an SUV picking up Maura, and then me, like an idiot, I suggested red. It didn't sound like she was going with red, but because there has been some talk about a red SUV, as potentially a...
It's been a red truck. I don't know if SUV has actually been mentioned.
Okay, a red truck. A suspicious red truck in the area around the...
It's not even, I don't even want to use this suspicious. It's just been an account of a red truck that's been in the area.
But didn't this truck turn around and go back towards Maura?
There was an account that it did turn around at the Swiftwater convenience store.
That this truck drove past
Or it
the
pulled
accident.
in. It could have gone in for gas or something.
Drove past the accident, went to the gas station. Maybe it stopped for gas. Maybe it just turned around and went back the other way towards where Maura crashed.
She's pretty adamant about it being a darker color.
Yeah, and so she doesn't necessarily say it's red, and, you know, since I gave that to her, I almost feel like we have to throw that part out where she's talking about it being red. I almost want to just say that she said it was blue, you know, but she didn't 100% say it was blue. She said it was a dark color. If it was red, it would have been a dark maroon.
Right, and she does say that it was a green and white license plate, which could be New Hampshire or Vermont, so you take that with a grain of salt as well, because she knows the area that Maura went missing, and, you know, what are the colors up there? It's, you know, it's green and white for Vermont and white and green for New Hampshire.
Green and white is also the color of an old Massachusetts license plate, not the current ones.
Oh,
but
yeah, the white and green one, yeah.
And so that went out of style in the 90s, but I think it is still legal to have a green and white Massachusetts license plate.
But the thing that kind of knocked me over a bit was her mentioning of the name Kathleen.
And I jumped again to, oh, that's her sister. Well, Kate is short for Kathleen as well. So,
Oh no, I'll defend you here. She
thanks,
actually
Lance.
asked me. She asked us the question. She said, "Who's Kathleen?"
yeah.
She came up with that name. Yeah, I mean, my first thought was that's her sister, but, you know, there's also Kate Markopoulos.
I also found it very interesting when we mentioned the name Alden Howes Olson, and she literally got disturbed in our presence.
Didn't she say something like, the feeling I get from this man is the same feeling I get when I'm working on Jack the Ripper?
Yeah, she did. So there you have it. This episode is was meant to expand your mind a little bit.
Yeah, and it's expand your mind, and it's also we don't know anything about the truth here. So these are alternatives. These are alternative methods to finding out the truth. And I feel very confident, even though I'm not 100% a believer in psychic ability. I feel very confident with the trip to visit Laurie Bruno. I think she's very, very, very intuitive. And we gave her nothing before we went into that. And there were moments where we were kind of taken aback and maybe gave her a little bit, but she never gave me the impression that she was taking advantage of us, and she was more than gracious to have us in there and to help us. Take it for what it is. What was kind of striking to me was a connection between the psychic that James went to and Laurie Bruno, both saying that essentially it feels like Maura's dead, but not dead in the sense of not living anymore. Laurie started off by saying it was very cold and she was in a cold place, and she didn't get the sense that she was living, but not really dead. Something like that. And that's kind of really striking to me.
Yeah, that could mean a bunch of things. I mean, it could mean she's not dead because there are so many people looking for her still.
Exactly, that the memory of her is still alive. Or it could mean that the old Maura is dead, that this Maura wanted to leave that old Maura behind. So that old Maura died that night on Route 112.
Yeah, and if she changed her name, then that would fit that.
But then there's a literal sense that she was put into a lake and it's cold and dark.
Well, I'm getting goosebumps. Just wanted to remind you before we go, please, if you want to leave your theory on this case on this podcast, if you want to hear it, please call 872-25-MAURA.
All right, I just wanted to thank everybody for listening again. Stay tuned for the next episode. Make sure you talk to anybody who might be interested in this, anybody who you think might be interested in this. The more eyes and ears on this case, the better. The more people who are thoughtful in their process, the way they process theories, the better. And we want to hear from them, and we want them to listen to the show and contribute.
Next time on MissingMauraMurray, we are interviewing a forensic psychology professor from the University of New Hampshire.
If she was kidnapped and murdered, it's almost unheard of for somebody to do that once and never do it again.